Hey guys, welcome to vlog number 19. Wow, we're just trucking right along on my 30-day challenge. I wanted to vlog for 30 days straight, so I'm taking a workshop with my friend Benji and just like learning how to vlog, because this channel has been a hobby channel for about 10 years, I guess, at this point. Maybe 7 years, 6, I don't know. I'm really not good with timelines. Like somebody would say, when did this happen? Everything happened like 5 years ago, right? But it was like 15 years ago. I don't know if anybody else has that problem, but if you ask me for timelines, I'm kind of like, if I really, go deep and think, I can usually come up with a pretty close estimate of time. But if it's just in passing, no. And Benji said, we were talking about how I wanted to build this channel and what I wanted it to be. And I was like, in the year 2024, I feel like with AI coming out and with everything that's going on with politics and, the economy and all this stuff, I think people are just really starving for connection, and that's one thing that I really wanted to do, is create a feeling of connection here so that we can have conversations. And that's what I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to have a channel that was conversation based, and it goes both ways. It's not just me on a soapbox here, but like we have conversations and you guys gear the conversation and the topics and things like that. And I know it's hard to do that because all you guys can do is comment and things like that. But at some point I do want to start bringing people in so that I can get feedback and have conversations in real time with people. That's like the ultimate goal. And I know that'll happen at some point, but it's just going to take a little bit of time to get it built up and everything. And so I feel like that's happening, like like one thing that I said is, I don't have to connect with the whole world. I'm not looking for a channel that has millions and millions of subscribers and all that stuff. I'm looking for what they say in business is your 1,000 super fans. And when Benji was asking me, he's like, when you're creating a business, you want to find your avatar. That's what they say. That's what they call it. And your avatar is basically your customer. So it's like, who is your customer? And in my case, who is your viewer? Who do you want your viewer to be? And I was just like, I want my viewer to be me. I want it to be somebody who's open-minded and is good at having conversation, or good at, or wants to have conversations and not just talk into a void, and wants to figure out how we can fix things and create a community so that we don't all feel alone and overwhelmed. Because like that's kind of how you feel, if you're not like me. I don't go to bars. I'm not a very social person. If I'm just being honest, I'm kind of an introvert. I can go out and be social, but I'm more comfortable at home and doing my own thing than being out at, like, I don't go to bars. I don't really do any activities, like group activities. Like, there's a lot of things I could do, like hiking and all that, but I'm not into all that stuff. I really like what I do. I love making videos. I love creating content. I love connecting with people online. I love doing the Redacted show and the things that we do. Like, I love what I do, but I just wanted to connect with people that are in that same boat, so that those of us who, we try to have these conversations with people and they look at us like we're insane, like we're crazy, and they don't want to hear it. They don't want to listen. And so that was the whole goal of this, is to find people like me. And oh my gosh, I just want to say thank you so much to all the new subscribers that have come to this channel, and that are like 99% of you are like me. And we're realizing, wow, we think alike. I've seen this comment so many times. I thought I was the only one that thought this way, and people that have said, I'll be watching Redacted and Clayton and Natalie will say something, and then all of a sudden you tune in and you're saying exactly what I was thinking in that moment. And it's like, that is such a good feeling to know that we have that connection now. And so we don't have to look at this like we're going through all of this by ourselves and alone. And if you guys ever want to suggest a topic on a video or something, leave it in the comments on here, or go follow me at David Foster Vlog on X or Twitter or whatever, and DM me or send me a tweet, post or whatever. I don't know what you call it now, but contact me through there, because you can send links in there, and let's do that. Let's have conversations. That's what this is all about. So just getting the vlog started today, I just wanted to say thank you. Welcome to all the new subscribers, and to the 99% of you that are positive, the 1% of you that are trolls, you're never gonna get me. You're never going to drag me down. I don't give a shit. I troll them back. I have fun. I have fun with the trolls. And you know what? In having fun with the trolls, I have turned some trolls into fans. I've done it. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't do it as much as I do. But I'll like troll them back with something, you know, either funny or, you know, there are some that come in here and they say really mean shit, and I'll say mean shit back just because that's, you know, that's how I troll. My nose is itching all of a sudden. Woo. So yeah, thank you guys. I'm so excited for the direction of this channel, and you're in a great place, and I'm glad that we're, you know, building this community, and we won't be alone with our thinking now. And if you would like to get more content, I do have memberships turned on this channel. So if you can afford it, totally cool. Click on join, become a member, and you're gonna get exclusive content, behind the scenes stuff. I'm posting something every Thursday, will be for members. And then also you get Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday early release of the vlogs the night before the public gets them, so that you can, you know, get involved in the conversation early. So if you're interested in that, click join. Have levels as low as $2.99 a month on up to whatever you can afford. So I would really appreciate it. It's not a requirement if you can't afford it. Totally understand. Just being here is good enough. That's all I want. I just want you to be here for the conversation. That is payment enough, but it does cost money to do this stuff. And if I can offset those costs just a little bit, like I'm not looking to profit, not looking to make a ton of money, but it would be nice to, you know, supplement a little bit and have a little bit to cover the expenses that do come with running a YouTube channel and, you know, doing the things that I do. So I'm very, I don't spend money on anything but gear for this stuff. So, all right, today's topic. I wanted to talk about, and I get a comment all the time, or have been getting a comment a lot of people like, you know, you say the dollar's crashing, but what do we do? What's the solution? Should I buy Bitcoin? Should I buy gold? Should I buy silver? Like, what should I do? And first of all, I want to preface this by saying I am not a financial advisor. Clayton is amazing at that stuff. Clayton has all kinds of things in place for financial advice. One of them, I think, is like paying off your house in like 5 years or something like that. Let me see what that morrisinvest.com, I think it is. Yeah, if you go to morrisinvest.com, Clayton Morris, I'll put it down here. He's got all kinds of stuff to help you with financing. Like, he is a specialist, and Natalie is as well. Natalie is financial person as well. So both of them together. I shouldn't have just said just Clayton, but I know I've only saying that because I've seen Clayton invest in gold and all that other stuff. Like, he's an investor. Oops. Shouldn't have done that. I just shut the computer and it almost shut this down. But so both of them can give you a wealth of information. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know about that stuff. I don't buy Bitcoin. I am not invested in gold. I'm not invested in anything. So I'm probably in the same position that a lot of you are. Like, Clayton told me to buy Bitcoin when it was like $23 or $24, and I'm just like, and I started to hit the buy button, and I'm just like, I just don't have the extra money to risk money. I don't have it. I can't sit there and take $1,000 and put it in Bitcoin with the potential of losing it because I just don't have extra money at the end of the month. You know, I don't live paycheck to paycheck, but I'm not wealthy. I don't have extra money at the end of the month to just put into something like that and say, well, hopefully I make money on that. Good luck, $1,000. Go out there. Whereas if I would have done that, it's up to like 60 something now, I would have made a hefty profit. But I'm just not willing to risk my money because it's like the only thing I have to survive, right? And that's why I really want to buy a house this next year, because I want to have some kind of asset. I don't own a home. I own nothing. I finance my car, so I mean, I will own that. I rent my house and have rented since I've graduated high school. Never purchased anything. I've purchased cars outright, but they were always, you know, like Cadillac Eldorado, or, you know, like a car that you just go and spend like $1,000 cash for, and then you got to take it home and put baling twine to hold the fender on, kind of thing. That's what I purchased. And then when I started getting into where my credit was good, because I paid cash for everything, so I didn't really have credit for the longest time. I mean, it wasn't until I was in my 40s that I actually started establishing credit, because if I needed something, I just saved and paid for it. I never financed anything, you know, and just paid rent on houses. So I don't have assets. And so when somebody asks me, you know, what should I invest in if the dollar's going to crash? I don't know the answer to that. But one thing that I think is, I don't think it matters what you invest in, because there's no infrastructure for any of those competing currencies. Like, what is the infrastructure? Like, let's say the dollar crashes tomorrow. I can't go to the grocery store and do the self-checkout with a brick of gold. I can't sit there and do it with Bitcoin, because if I use a debit card, the way that that's all structured, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is if I have a debit card that has Bitcoin on it, I put it in there, it instantly takes that Bitcoin, puts it off, converts it to cash, and sends it to the grocery store, converts it to the dollar. I don't think grocery stores are taking and holding Bitcoin. Like I said, I could be wrong, but there's no infrastructure to support an alternate currency that I know of. So I don't think it really matters. If the dollar crashes, what are you going to be able to take to the grocery store to buy food? What are you going to be able to use to pay your rent? You're not going to be able to, like, okay, let's see, I'll just like shave a little bit off of this gold, or I got 3 gold coins, I'll send 2 gold coins for my rent this month. Like, first of all, that's going to go fast, because who has like a shit ton of gold? Like, who's sitting on pounds and pounds of gold that you can just keep shaving some off so that you can pay your rent and stuff? Okay, sorry, my brother is trying to get into my storage unit to grab some stuff to ship out here, so I had to pause for a second. But there's no infrastructure in place to support any of these currencies. So, like I was saying, I don't think there's anybody who just has pounds of gold laying around that they can just shave off a little bit, or they have like thousands of gold coins that they can just send a whole coin, or you know, well, my rent's $2,500. That's about 2.5 coins. Like, what? Like, how would that work? Like, I understand that we want to be invested in alternate currencies and have a backup plan, but I just don't understand at the end of the day how that would work if the infrastructure isn't there to support taking it as payment for everyday goods and services. So that's why I say I don't know, and that's exactly why I haven't invested in it. You know, when I was talking to Clayton about Bitcoin and what it would take to use that if the economy crashed, in order to get mass adoption for something like that, you'd basically have to reverse engineer the system. You would have to go backwards. So you'd have to say, okay, what we need to do is we need to make it so that Bitcoin can be used as a debit card, and that debit card has to be able to be used in the same infrastructure that exists now. You have to go back to go forward. It's not like you could just say, okay, here is a Bitcoin thing, and you just use that, and you know, it's not good. Like, all of these companies would have to have then a Bitcoin wallet that it goes into, and then they'd have to have a way to use that to pay their bills. And if they didn't have a way to pay their bills, their mortgages, their to buy their products from other countries, like let's say you're using it at a grocery store that some of their products come from Mexico, for instance. It's like, okay, so all the food that comes from Mexico doesn't take Bitcoin. So how are they going to buy that food if we're paying with Bitcoin? They have to hold Bitcoin because the dollar has crashed. They can't convert it into the dollar, which Mexico would take, but you can't convert the Bitcoin into pesos, which is what Mexico would take. So how in the hell would it work? So I don't think there's any way, if the dollar crashes, that we're going to be able to do that. I think it's going to become like, oh my gosh, we're going to have to go steal food. We're going to have to go steal things, which is why I was saying, like, if it's on the brink of freaking destruction, like crashing the dollar, go buy seed. Go buy seed. Go buy powdered food, like what are those, MRIs and stuff? Like, buy a shit ton of that stuff. Go to REI and start buying up those powdered food packets like crazy. Like the Cliff whatever, and hide those suckers. Hide them, because I feel like if the dollar does crash and the economy totally crashes, food is going to be the most valuable resource you can have. People aren't going to give a shit about your gold. They're not going to give a shit about how much Bitcoin you have. They're not going to give a shit about buying your fucking NFT and trading your NFT. Like, because like infrastructure will start to shut down. What if Comcast buys electricity from the electric grid and they have to pay this other company to provide that electricity, and none of them take Bitcoin, they all take dollar? Like, the whole infrastructure, like nothing exists that's going to support all of these currencies for companies, for us, for anything. At least that's what, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, if somebody knows that I'm wrong and understands how this would actually work, please let me know. And also, Bitcoin is an online thing. Well, if we don't have the dollar, how long will the internet stay up? Are they going to let me continue to have internet service if I can't pay for it? If I'm like, I can send you some Bitcoin, I can send you a couple shavings of gold, can you just leave my internet on? They don't have the infrastructure for that. You're not going to be able to pay. Who's going to be going out and installing new cable and new internet? So if the dollar crashes, no new customers get internet, but our old customers grandfathered into the antiquated, now antiquated infrastructure that's in place. So when people ask me, like, what should I invest in? I don't think there's anything you can invest in. You know, like, hopefully something happens and maybe like the BRICS nations aren't like, you know, completely crazy, and maybe they help us get through it. Maybe they help the US citizens by saying, hey, you know, you can invest in our currency. We'll take your dollar for this pennies on the dollar for this, you know, or something. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't know that anyone knows the answer. I don't know if anyone is going to know the answer until it freaking happens. Because who is going to build the infrastructure for that when nobody, like all of these big companies probably don't even, I mean, do they know the dollar's going to crash? Do they know what's going on? I mean, I'm sure they keep their finger on the pulse, but they're watching Wall Street. Stocks are looking great. I don't know I don't think the dollar's going anywhere. Stocks are looking great. And maybe it won't. Maybe this is all hyperbole. Maybe there's a chance that the dollar survives. Maybe. But there's never been a fiat currency that has survived that's not backed by something. Our cash is basically just paper. It really has no value. There's a certain percentage of dollars that are out there that have value. The rest do not, because they were printed out of thin air. They have just as much value as air does. But I mean, that's not really a good analogy, because oxygen has a lot of value to me, and probably does you too. I don't know. Do you breathe? I breathe. Therefore, I'd say that it probably has a lot of value to you too. So yeah. So in the comments, here's the conversation for today's vlog. What are you doing? What are you investing in outside of the US dollar? And how do you think it's going to be supported if the dollar crashes? How do you think you're going to be able to use your Bitcoin, use your gold and silver if the economy crashes? Like, is there a secret infrastructure that we don't know about, that I don't know about, that's out there that can do that? And if so, what is it? And if you are a financial advisor, reach out to me on Twitter and let's have a conversation and talk about what can we do? What could we do if the dollar crashes? Because I honestly, personally, and this is just based on Ron Paul, because Ron Paul's been saying it for years. I don't think it's a matter of if the dollar crashes. I think it's a matter of when. I want to be wrong. I have never wanted to be wrong about something so much more in my life, because the dollar crashing, a lot of people will die. A lot of people will die because the whole system will be complete and utter chaos. Hospitals, everything, no more insurance, no more benefits, no more Social Security, no more Medicare, no more anything. All of that stuff is gone because nobody has been working on an infrastructure for if the dollar crashed, because they're so arrogant that they seem to think it can't happen. But that arrogance is what caused Rome to fail. That arrogance is going to be the death of us. And we'll pretty much be reverting to caveman times. And I don't know about you, but I don't know how this works. I don't know what's in here. I won't be able to communicate with anybody. If the internet doesn't stay on, I don't know how I'm going to talk to my friends and family. You know, I guess we would have to drive across the country in our car, but then it's going to be basically like, you know, Mad Max. Be fighting for gasoline. I mean, we really could be entering into a Mad Max-like situation. Could you imagine? Brother against brother. That's insane to think. But if the dollar crashes, you know, I mean, and to be fair, here's some positive light, maybe a light at the end of the tunnel, maybe. There's been in history, there have been other currencies that have crashed. And yes, people went through depression. They went through hard times, like very hard times in Germany and stuff, you know, with the great potato famine and all that stuff. Like there's been countries that have gone through hard times. And yes, people probably did die of starvation and all kinds of things, but they got through it. Ultimately, after a while, they did get through it. And Ron Paul said it's going to be hard no matter what when it crashes. It is going to be hard. You know, there was a depression in the 20s that a lot of people don't talk about where, you know, they recovered fairly quickly. Then it went into the 30s or whatever. There's another depression. But they got through it, right? So I think we can get through anything. But I just feel like we have to be ready. We have to be prepared and understand that we will lose people and that we have to figure out how to keep level heads. And maybe that'll be the uniter to where people are like, you know what? Our parties, our politics, our politicians, they don't matter anymore. They do not matter anymore because they're the reason that we're in this situation. Hopefully then we're like, we got a common enemy. Let's recreate this country. Let's write a new constitution. You know, let's get it back to we the people. Let's fix this and let's do it together. Maybe that is the light at the end of the tunnel. And for those of us who survive, and then maybe we'll have a better country for our generations that are like our grandkids and our kids and grandkids and their grandkids and kids and grandkids and kids and kids and cousins and all that stuff, like for them, you know, maybe. And I really don't like to be doom and gloom, you know, but the thing is like that's the reality. The reality is the BRICS nations are forming. 59 new countries wanting to join BRICS. If you didn't watch the live stream from yesterday, go watch that. I talk about the BRICS nations and how, you know, they've got the right idea. And the United States, instead of joining them, is probably going to fight them every step of the way and make enemies of all of them, because we've already made enemies with most of the world because of the shit that we've done overseas, the atrocities that we have committed, the millions and millions of people that we have murdered, you know, innocent people. You know, we bash Hitler and say Hitler was bad, but tell me how we're any better right now. Tell me what the United States is doing all over the world isn't just as bad or worse than what Hitler did. You know? Tell me, because I won't believe you at this point. You know, before I started to wake up to all this stuff that our government does, I might have been able to be convinced. But once you see what we're actually doing overseas and how much control we have over the money supply of country, or the monetary policy of a lot of countries, and through the World Bank and the IMF, the International Monetary Fund and all that stuff, like all of the control we have, it's coming to an end. It really is coming to an end. So not to be doom and gloom, but we have to think realistically. We have to be prepared. You know, I was a Cub Scout. Be prepared and do a good deed daily. Right? That's the motto. Be prepared. So we have to be prepared for the worst, but hope for the best. You know, there's still hope for the best. There's still hope that it doesn't happen, but we need to be prepared in case it does. So again, let me know in the comments, like, how are you preparing? Are you prepared? Or are you like me? I'm not prepared. I am not prepared at all. Like, the dollar goes away tomorrow, I'm fucked. I'm going to be probably reaching out to some of you that have purchased gold and Bitcoin and being like, hey, can I come stay at your house for a few days? And then I'll never leave. I'll be on your couch. I'll clean the couch every morning. You won't know that I'm even there, but I will be there. I will be there. So, but seriously, like, are you prepared? And do you agree with me that there's really no way that it can happen because the infrastructure isn't there? Do you agree with that? Just would love to know in the comments. And trolls, go ahead and troll me. The dollar ain't going nowhere. The dollar's the strongest. What is it? What did that person say? You are benefiting from the atrocities that the US does all over the world. You benefit from that. So shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. The dollar ain't going nowhere. Yeah, those are the people that are going to be like, ugh, shit. I mean, they're going to be in the same boat as me, but they're going to have more of a rude awakening because at least I know it's coming. They don't. So, in which maybe in some cases that's better to be like, that ain't going to happen. Not even have to worry about it. I don't know. I'd rather worry about it, you know? But thank you guys so much for joining me for another vlog. I will see you tomorrow. Again, I post these every single day, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern. Be sure to subscribe if you like this kind of content. And if you don't want to go through this bullshit alone and know that there are more people out there that think the way you do, there are a lot of people here that do. You'll note if you make a comment in the comments, you'll see that they're here. Your people, you have found your people. And as soon as this election is over between Trump and Biden, we're starting a purple revolution, and we're going to all ditch our parties, and we're going to start a revolution to take back our country. We're going to, no more red and blue. It's going to be purple. We're combining the two. All right. Who's coming with me? Come on. Who's coming with me? All right, you guys, thank you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.